Doginus Latinus. Dogs. Man's best friend? Or not? Join me, Angus Bacon, as I explore previously unexplored territory in the search for the answer to that very question. We begin our journey in England. Its soft grey skies, rolling green hills, and abundance of cattle are all completely irrelevant to the point I'm trying to make, and were not worth the plane ticket out here. Dogs come in all shapes and sizes. Well, not literally, of course, that'd be ridiculous. Can you imagine a square-shaped dog? That's just plain weird. Or a blue whale-sized triangular-shaped dog? Don't be stupid. How on earth would you go about feeding such a thing? What would you feed it? I hardly think kibble would cut it. Then again, blue whales eat plankton, which is quite small, but they eat a lot of plankton, and that would equate to a lot of kibble. Less kibble than plankton, because I imagine a plankton's mass would be less than that of a piece of kibble. Or a diamond-shaped dog? And let's not forget, these are all two-dimensional shapes, and a dog is a three-dimensional creature. There's no way a dog could survive if it was two-dimensional. I mean, sure, if it had been two-dimensional its whole life, it may have evolved to live that way, but if it had made the shift from three-dimensional to two-dimensional, all of its organs would surely be crushed in the process, killing it. And how fast is this process? Is it quick and painless, or is it slow and drawn out, inflicting an almost absurd amount of pain onto the animal? Is it even medically possible? I fear not. And surely a two-dimensional creature has no right to be living in a three-dimensional world. And yeah, if this dog is a cartoon character in a Walt Disney film or something, then maybe it'd get a pass for being two-dimensional, but if Walt Disney's so great, then how come he's dead? All dogs are black, as this exception to the rule proves. These are not dogs. At a glance, these appear to be dogs, but they are in fact not. You can tell by the wings. And these aren't Yeah, they are dogs. But none of this gets us any closer to the answer to the question we started with. Are dogs man's best friend? Well, I think the best way to get an answer is to go somewhere no other reporter has yet had the guts to. The moon. Oh no, sorry. Directly to the source.
So tell me, sir, do you believe that dogs are in fact man's best friend? Chilling stuff.
Having been physically threatened by the dog, I left, unsure of what to do next. But then, like Saul on the road to Damascus, it hit me. A water bottle. But inside that water bottle was a message, and that message was the script, and it told me what I needed to do next. If I couldn't get any word out of a real dog, my next best bet would be to interview a man dressed as a dog.
Oh, hey. Hey. Thanks for coming.
No, not a problem. I had nothing on.
Yeah, cool.
It's a nice place.
Yeah, it's mine. So my first question is, are you of the opinion that dogs are man's best friend?
Well, see, now that's interesting. I prefer to describe myself as more of a free spirit, whereas I feel like having a man really ties you down.
Yeah, okay, but the question was, do you believe that dogs are man's best friend?
No, I don't.
Right.
I was not happy with that answer. To me, it seemed pretentious and stupid. I would not rest until I found someone who would validate my own belief that dogs are, in fact, man's best friend. I decided to make a survey. After hours and hours of research, I finally worked out how to make a survey, and I figuratively held my breath, waiting for the public's response.
It's a good thing too that I didn't literally hold my breath in anticipation of a response, because I didn't get one. It seems that dogs are either too arrogant or too stupid to fill out a survey autonomously. I was beginning to come to the conclusion myself that maybe dogs were not indeed the best friends I'd always thought them to be. I was now confused. My original intention had been to find someone who validated my own opinion, and as a result made me feel correct. But now I didn't even know what my own opinion was. There was only one possible course of action: a meditative trip to Tibet. I had many great experiences while there. I saw some stairs, I met this guy, he was very friendly. But of course, all good things must come to an end, and towards the end of my trip, I was kidnapped by a witch and turned into a goat, as were my entire crew. Fortunately, after being transformed into a goat, my cameraman still remembered how to use his camera, hence the footage you are seeing now.
Up until this point, the meditative trip had not helped in the slightest. In fact, I don't think it would be unfair to say that being turned into a goat made me incredibly stressed. Interestingly though, this witch had a pet dog who seemed to take pity on us. I doubt we were the first group to be turned into goats, or perhaps we were and this witch turns her captives into a different animal each time. Nevertheless, I wondered if this dog took pity on all the groups to have come before us as well. Of course, him being a dog and me being a goat, there was no way I could talk to him, and sign language was out of the question because I didn't have thumbs. No, instead we devised a language out of dance. I've no idea if his interpretations of different movements were the same as mine, but it worked. Over the ensuing weeks, we developed an escape plan together. The dog seemed to clue into the fact that my favourite prison escape film of all time is Chicken Run. And thank God he did. It's what I spent the most time trying to communicate through dance. As a result, our escape plan was not totally dissimilar to the one in Chicken Run, save for one small detail. We were not chickens. The more audibly gifted among you will remember we were goats and a dog. Once we had made our escape, the dog took us to a small village in which the local shaman and part-time lawyer turned us back into humans. Strangely, after being transformed back into a human, my cameraman forgot how to use his camera. We had to stay in Tibet for an extra 3.5 months while he taught himself how to use it again, hence the footage you are not seeing now. Once we arrived back home, I reflected upon our journey. If not for that dog, it's highly likely I would still be a goat. Or dead. And that brings us back to the question raised at the beginning of this video. Are dogs man's best friend? Well, the answer seems obvious. It should be yes, right? But I'm not so sure. I mean, how does one even define the term best friend anyway? Well, I don't know who one is, but Google defines it as a person's closest friend. And that's just a thing. I don't think I would ever call a dog my closest friend. I've got far too many human associates for that to ever happen. How does one even choose who their best friend is anyway? I mean, I really like Wayne, but I also really like Shane. And Kane's a nice guy as well. And if I were to add dog to that list, it would ruin the perfect rhyming scheme I've worked so hard to cultivate. So I really have no option. While dogs may not be man's best friend, they're a darn good one nonetheless.